What is up, DTube Steam blockchain? So today I want to talk about the topic I'm going to call classic social media versus Avalon blockchain. So getting closer to Avalon blockchain, I've been considering a little bit how this can kind of play out. So now when I kind of know how proof of brain is, because I've been using it for 2 years, the algorithmic thing that is going on classic social medias, where it just automated moderation, automated feeds that is so focused on virality, and it cannot really, like, it's like horrible at moderate stuff, mainly because you as a community person don't really have a way to influence that at all because you don't have any tokens. so so getting closer to Avalon blockchain launch, um I've been kind of considering a little bit how it actually may be a turning point for, it may actually be almost like a paradigm shift in how people are looking at things. So these last 10 years with Bitcoin and stuff like that, people, and now we have this meme, this Fed meme, this brr meme, like that, that money printing, oh, it's like horrible, and we need the scarcity of the Bitcoin. But I think that we actually may see a paradigm shift where people eventually realize we can actually print a lot, and that printing is fine as long as you're doing it and doing it in an ecosystem that's healthy. The key thing here is healthy. So if you have a healthy ecosystem, you can probably print a lot and be fine. If you don't have a healthy ecosystem, printing may not work at all. So the thing here is, it may not be like, people usually consider the printing as bad, but it probably is more about who is managing things and how the ecosystem is running, and if the ecosystem is healthy. And this can be with like large scale governance systems or more smaller scale systems. So classic social medias, the most annoying thing with them, and why it may be a kind of almost like a paradigm shift with Avalon blockchain, is because it may expose so many people to something that is, to make them aware that something better actually does exist now. So the key thing with classic social media that is so annoying is these automated systems that don't really consider how to make so a person create stuff for the long term. So how the classic social medias kind of work right now is that they kind of churn people. So what happens is they always get a bunch of new people into their systems, but the retention rate of older people, what happens is they do not engage so much with the app. They don't even use their brain that much, because it's not incentivized so much with classic social media, because you're only incentivized to sort of keep scrolling and not like trying to think and trying to use your brain. They do not incentivize you to use your brain because they don't even need your brain. So the feeds of new content that is being produced is fully automated. Who can get an account is also kind of automated. It's like you can get like error messages, oops, you can't sign up, and you don't even know why, because it's automated. Okay, there's no human involved. Automated systems, as we've seen on the Steam blockchain, like, first, people can love automated systems so much. So for example, the time with a lot of bots on the Steam blockchain, it barely lasted for, I think, like 2 years or so, and then they realized, okay, this is not really working anymore. because it was just like no human, like if you just do stuff, if you do everything automated, then you may not even have yeah, it can really turn horrible, it can really turn into a mess. And that's why this is why they don't exist anymore on the Steam blockchain, because it's like it doesn't work anymore, because if people use trying to do something and get something for free, is eventually like it's not gonna work because too many people are gonna do it, right? So classic social medias, the horrors of humans, that the community can't moderate it itself. So you only so people are only trying to play tricks with the kind of the algo, and trying to appeal to the lowest common denominator, which means they're trying to appeal to, let's say you have 1,000 people, you're trying to make something extremely mainstream friendly to them. While with Avalon blockchain and with proof of brain that comes with the DTC token, it makes it so people can do extremely niche based content, where you actually use your brain, and maybe it only appeals to a few people, but those people really really love that content, and that creates way more retention rate. So it becomes more about humans don't have to trying to satisfy everyone in like a mainstream sort of way, but they can really do the thing they really want to do, and they don't have to be so concerned with like pleasing everyone, because that's a big thing with social media, like everyone is trying to please everyone, and then you have to appeal to the like the lowest common denominator, and you try to not like make anything that like resembles the real world, like so people like play these roles that is very boring and very very predictable. So I'm very very excited to see how this is going to play out, and I'm not sure if it's going to be like kind of like a paradigm shift, but I do think that we can like I do think that like the problem, for example, with Steam, I would say at the moment, like a lot of people say that it is that a lot of people say, I think that Steam is too slow to sort of get out tokens to people, especially get out tokens to content creators. And I think that that is one thing that DTube kind of solves. Yeah, because when I'm using Steam, I kind of feel slow. The voting power is slow. The way you distribute it, it's super slow. And it's very, very hard to get a lot of tokens into content creators' hands. It just is. And that's a lot with how it's designed, especially the voting power system, how it's not really designed so much for like content creators and the way that they kind of operate. So I'm going to be very very interesting to see how people use Avalon blockchain, because there's one way of like seeing how people are using Avalon blockchain now, but then as I talked about in other videos, people probably will behave in different ways when there is the DTC token that has a monetary value, and that's going to be kind of fascinating to kind of study. So I'm not sure how it will go, but I do know that the testnet has been working really, really amazing. So it kind of seems like it would continue kind of on sort of that pattern, but there will probably come up some some stuff here and there, just as we see with all kind of systems, because you can't predict in advance stuff that can arise. So it's going to be interesting to see if the community will be if we already know that they use upvotes, but it's going to be interesting to see if they are good at moderation also, if they try to take responsibility in that. That of course also means that moderation kind of has to work. and that probably will need some tweaking, because we're not kind of perfect at what is like ideal moderation, what is ideal game theory for that. Then you also, of course, have the classification of tags with Avalon blockchain. That's going to be kind of interesting. Uh, if the search engine is kind of good, then tags can really become like a big thing in the future. Because it's like if people can find stuff super fast and people are using the search feature, that can really maybe create a lot of virality with the DTC token and proof of brain, and proof of brain plus virality. I can't wait to see how that can kind of how that may play out and how people may respond to that. I'm very, very curious. So overall, I'm very, very excited uh, to try that. Avalon blockchain is kind of coming soon. It's going to be fun to see the difference in moderation and the difference also in how people are interacting with it, and see if there's a big difference compared to the testnet compared to the mainnet. Yeah, have an awesome day, DTube and Steam blockchain.